Hello everybody. This is obviously going to be a banger because one, I'm making it, and two, it's a Goon Series video on one of the most popular video game characters to ever exist. Of course, I'm talking about Master Chief. If you want to see your favorite character in the Goon or Jobber series, or if you want to see a versus battle, anything like that, make sure to check out the listed options to purchase a slot. If you don't have anything in terms of money to purchase a video, of course, you could just comment down below what video you would love to see next in the series. And if it gets enough likes, of course, I'll make it. So, but anyways, getting back to this is going to be a unique video on Master Chief because this Goon Series moment, I'm literally, for part one, only going to take from moments when Master Chief was a literal child, because child Master Chief was savage as shit. So at the end of the video, of course, I will give a review and rate on a 1 to 4 how big of a goon Master Chief is based on evidence in this video, as well as if you want to see part 2, run this up to 750 likes and I'll drop the part 2. But without further ado, let's begin. First moment to talk about actually is just in the comics for his childhood, just explaining what to even qualify he had to be. So to even remotely qualify to potentially train as a Master Chief Marine in the series, you have to be peak human. Not only peak human, but literally one of the craziest human examples throughout at least the galaxy. Like, you have to be a 1 in a trillion, basically. And then you still have to pass through all the rigorous steps. But just the fact that he's basically one out of maybe a handful throughout, at bare minimum, the galaxy, just shows how crazy of a goon Master Chief was always destined to be. And by the way, I call him Little John because that's how he was rolling around. But Master Chief's name and what he goes by in this comic was John. And this brings us to, the next moment, which is opening up and showing us how he was off rip. And this is goon shit, right? So they explain what it takes to be worthy of the Spartan program, right? And I already told you, you got to basically be the perfect possible candidate physically. And it cuts to child John beating the shit out of his ops at school. And so you see this doctor pull up on him, and she's like, yo, I noticed you're just like folding kids casually. And he's like, yeah, I do this shit. Like, it's the trenches, dog. It is what it is. And she was like, yo, flip this coin for me. And he takes it, and I think she flips it. And she's like, tell me what it's going to be. He tells her and guesses it right, of course. And the point of this, I guess these candidates are allegedly able to have luck hacks. Like, they either have extremely good luck naturally, or there's some actual science behind it. But regardless, they have abnormal luck that allows situations to favor them, which makes a lot of sense when you see the bullshit Master Chief deals with in the games. But yeah, he like easily called it to her, and he was like, yeah, I'm the GOAT. You already know that I'm going to turn up if you add me to the program. And this, of course, allowed him to gain entry to the trainee program. Next, we have, upon the entrance of the candidates, right? We see the handful of kids. We see how messed up they are. Like, they all come from different conditions, but typically what they do come from is what's used to determine how quality they are. What I mean by that is, obviously, a lot of these kids come from bad, horrible dog shit situations that turn them into beasts, right? And John is no exception. Like, he's a savage. And we see that when all these kids are taken, beaten, abducted, told they're going to basically become super soldiers to fight a race of creatures they'll probably die to, none of them cry. They're all little ass kids. I'm talking between like ages 5 and 10. And none of these kids even remotely cry, especially John. Next, we have the initiation process, right? Little John wakes up to literally getting the shit tased out of him, right? He's like, oh shit, muffled mic. Like, there's officers beating him and tasing him. And you just see, bro, John's small as shit, just on the ground getting lit up like a firecracker. And everyone's sprinting out of the building as they're in a complete panic. And John, as a child, not only tanks this electrocution and torture, sprints out with the rest of the group too, and continues to get back to work and is like, oh shit, what's going on? And they're like, yo, I don't know, we gotta figure it out though. And like, just the fact that this little kid, he's like, I think 6 at the time, is casually tanking this and just running through it and being like, yo, what's going on, is absolutely absurd. So at this point, we've seen how tough John is. We've seen he's going to be the future Master Chief. He immediately, along with the others still there, are subjected to 365 days of pure torture in the form of working out literally all the time. 24/7, they are training, getting better, like physically, mentally, all that. It's all being addressed in this ridiculous and absurd training regimen that most would die from. But given the circumstances, given how advanced and elite John is in terms of a prospect, him and these kids are able to actually survive this training and prosper in it. This is, of course, when we see during the training process where the drip comes from, right? Like, these characters, we see John's going to be a savage. We already know this at this point. Like, he's already a top-tier goon, given that he's a little-ass kid wilding out. But they need a purpose, right? And that's when they're introduced to who they're named after. The Spartans of old. And they see the footage and the hype montage clips of old school Spartans getting down and dirty in the trenches, and the kids realize, like, yo, we got a chance to be like them, except we got laser guns being blasted at us. It's not some old school war. Like, we're on some galactic shit, being wild with it. Like, they were hyped. Like, these kids are being shown they're basically going to get slaughtered in battle for their people, because that's what happens to Spartans. But, like, regardless, they were just hyped, and it just shows that Master Chief was always down to be the soldier. Next, we see a ridiculous training mission occur in which John is actually completely unfazed. So basically, these little ass kids, right, they're grouped up, these prospects, and they're told basically you're getting dropped down into a wild ass extraction mission. You don't know much, you just gotta survive and prosper. They drop out of the ship and they're left there. These kids are left there. And John looks around like, bro, I'm not worried about this shit. Y'all fall in line. I'm gonna cook. Like, like, you could just tell, like, he was always gonna be a problem. He does not care. He's like, yeah, I'm the captain now. If y'all want to get out of here, follow me, bitch. It's time to turn up. And this is where we see it really get wicked for the kids in this comic. Now, next, we see Master Chief is a beast even at this age. So he gets the drop on what at this point all we know are like rebel fighters. They're not good people, they're rebels of some sort. Little John and his crew gets the drop on them. He's like, oh shit, fellas, come over here. And you see all the kids get the drop and the location on these rebels. Not only this, they have time to prep against them and figure out how they're going to take them out. And by the way, they didn't have anything when they dropped in. So they're going against people that are armed, preparing for war and stuff, and they have nothing. And Master Chief still led his little group of Yancey Street prospects to get the drop on them. Shameless plug for my Yancey Street video. But moving on, we have the actual conflict, right? Of course, they see potential ops. John has to scrap. Like, he doesn't run from battle. So him and his crew get into a battle with some of the members of this group, right? And they're like, yo, You kids think you're sweet, we're gonna beat y'all's asses. And you see like the taser ignite, we're like, uh-oh, John might get dropped again, because, you know, shit could get real. But nope, John is not scared. In fact, he planned this all through. They had studied wolves before and the patterns of animals like that, and how with strategic grouping and attacks and coordinated strikes, you can take down even stronger foes, even better foes. And that's when we see John and his group get the drop on this bitch that was trying to press John and knock this hoe ass out without any problems. That's when we see that throughout this mission, in which John is leading these kids, these literal kids, to get buckets on these adult rebels, right? They're just completely shitting on them, beating them up, mauling them whenever they get the drop on them. Like, John is ordering legit coordinated strikes even though he's a child, right? And he's folding them. And we see that he's learning throughout this process, and the doctor, when she speaks to him after this, she's like, yo, John, what did you learn during this experience? Like, y'all were doing wild shit. What'd you learn? He said, real shit. I learned it's not about numbers. It's not even really about skill or how good you are. It's about teamwork. If you don't have the team in line, and if you don't have everybody ready to cook, it's useless. Like, you might have one star, but if everyone else is dead weight, it's dog shit. You got to get everybody to fall in line and turn up. And that's what John was great at, even as a kid, which made Master Chief a top tier goon. Next, we see that John actually learns he not only beat rebels, right? Like, he's a child that led his group of kid prospects against rebels. These were real soldiers. He literally, as a child, destroyed soldiers in warfare in which they had the tactical advantage, the experience advantage, and the gear advantage, and the numbers advantage, technically. And he still got the drop on them. So we literally see at that point the adults be like, okay, this kid John, I don't know if he has plot armor or something, but he's going to be the GOAT. And of course they were right, because he grows up to be the GOAT himself, Master Chief. And finally, to kind of round it up, like I said, if you want to see part 2 where we get into adult Master Chief and all the stuff he does, we see that Kid Master Chief, after this mission, undergoes even more training and augmentation and surgeries, and becomes a leader of his own gang, officially his own little hit unit. And it's super dope to see how him being such a strong willed leader, a savage on the battlefield, the fact he didn't lose any of his cadets when they beefed with those soldiers. He lost nobody, left nobody behind, wasn't willing to sacrifice them or anything. The fact he turned up so well, I think this child version of Master Chief deserves at least tier 3 goon, possibly 4. I mean, he's out here doing shit that it would kill regular kids. I mean, at one point he was subjected to stuff that would have killed chimps, right? And he's like 6. So that's absolutely absurd. But let me know what you guys think of him as a goon, as a kid. This version of Master Chief, what tier would you give him? I think he'd fit in on Yancey Street. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Again, if you want to support or purchase a video, definitely add me on Discord and let me know. You can also join my server for free. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy YFV, aka Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. By the way, second channel, which its name is being changed to The Coffee Shop. You'll see videos like Gojo versus Goku up there today, so make sure to go check that out and subscribe. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see y'all later. Peace.